All right, everyone. So in this relatively short presentation, I'm going to go over the content from chapter 15 that we'll cover this week. I'm not going to go over the whole chapter because we're not going to cover the whole chapter this week. So I'll just cover the key stuff here. So the focus of this week is on wastewater removal and wastewater treatment. So with wastewater removal, and again, this is just a quick overview. This is not meant to be a comprehensive. To really learn the material, you need to read through the book as usual. But all plumbing fixtures in a house must have outlets for drain water that must be collected and delivered. So you have to treat your wastewater. And we'll see there's a couple different ways you can do it. If you treat it on site, and you can actually sort of put it back into the water table, into the groundwater, or you can have conveyance that takes it away into a centralized water treatment plant. So all of that we'll go over this week. But no matter what, you have to treat the water before you release it back into wherever, either nature or back into the water system. So again, there's a couple of different options here. We have municipal and on-site. We'll discuss, or you'll look at the difference between black water and gray water. Again, read the book for more details on that, but there are considerations for each. In terms of on-site, there's a couple of videos this week that detail how different methods of on-site water treatment. This is also in your book, and there's a couple of readings as well. Basically, septic systems you're probably familiar with. But there's actually a couple different types of septic systems, and then you'll go over the various processes in the different septic systems, and sort of where certain types of systems are appropriate for different locations, like out in a rural area versus an urban area, and so forth. There's other ways to do it, but other than septic systems, you can do wetlands. These are less common, but it's a more sort of natural way to to filter the water and clean the water out, and actually creates a little habitat as well. Discuss the need for percolation tests, and that helps you evaluate what type of septic system is appropriate for your location. Just look at the basic wastewater piping. So PVC is really common, although there are metal pipe is also can be used, but PVC is the most common. We'll kind of look at a little bit of the system design. We'll get more into the system design next week, looking at the actual plumbing. We'll look at different considerations in terms of different piping systems. Air admittance valve. This is just one way to allow for drainage to occur, because if you want something to drain out of the pipe, you need to replace that liquid with air, and so you need to pull some air back in. There's also some innovative in terms of green building applications. So drain heat water recovery is a really interesting application, where you can actually recapture some of the heat from hot water that would otherwise just go down in the drain. You'll look at that in your book. Pretty interesting application. You'll learn about gray water reclamation. So instead of sending your water out to the sewer system, or sending it out to a septic tank, or whatever your water treatment facility is, certain types of water that you use in your house are clean enough that you can reuse it on site, either by, most commonly for irrigation, but you can also reuse it for like flushing toilets and so forth. So things like sink water, bath water, and so forth, dishwater. It's not so dirty, or doesn't have, you can reuse that on site. Sometimes you have to filter it and clean it up a little bit, but that's a really interesting sort of green building application, gray water. You also look at a little bit of rainwater harvesting. Again, this is the world, the earth provides all this free water to a lot of us, and for the most part you can capture it. I mean, rainwater is clean. Now you have to be careful about the surface that it lands on when you collect it from. So if you have an asphalt roof, that's an issue. You obviously don't want to drink that. So there are some considerations to be made in terms of how you're collecting that rainwater, but you'll look briefly at that in your book as well. And a cistern is just one of the applications. This is a large storage tank that you use to capture rainwater. Okay, so that's it from chapter 15 for this week.